Welcome back to Card Salad. Today we're going to be reviewing the Illusionist type cards, Draconic Illusionist and Illusionist from Uprising, Flesh and Blood TCG set Uprising. I have with me today Mitch down in the bottom left, Bill up there in the top right. We got Taylor What You Need down in the bottom left, right
Yo,
there.
what you need?
What I need is you to review these cards. So if you could do that, that would be great. Yeah, so we normally do this when spoilers are coming out, but things were a little busy and they did such a short spoiler season. There was so much all at once. The timing just kind of made sense to wait till all the cards were out. And now we're going to go through all the Illusionist, and then we'll do all the Ninja, all the generic, that kind of setup. So we can see all of the cards that synergize with each other in context, in like full context, and maybe give them more accurate ratings this time around. And also, before we get started, I want to shout out Fab Foundry, our sponsor. Mitch and I are on Team Foundry, and we would appreciate it if you supported Travis and our team by shopping through our affiliate link. I'll put that in the description below. Travis runs a awesome store, Fab Foundry. Get all your Flesh and Blood singles there. Go get your Uprising singles as soon as the set drops. If you shop through our affiliate link, we get a little bit of kickback for the team the team fund, and we would really appreciate that. Anyways, Dromai. This is the Draconic Illusionist young hero. 4 intellect, 20 health. Whenever you pitch a red card, create an ash token. If you've played a red card this turn, dragons you control have go again while attacking. What do you guys think about Dromai?
So I was super underwhelmed by Dromai at first. I saw a lot of like glaring weaknesses, but in the draft, not the sealed we did at the world premiere, but the draft event we did after the calling was all over, I kind of got to see a sneak peek at what tricks Dromai can pull, and it's pretty crazy. The instanting in Ash to become blocking with the ward, and just how fast she can pump out dragons, the little Ashwing dragons, it's can be pretty overwhelming pretty fast. So I have higher hopes than I first thought for Dromai.
Yeah, I should mention that Mitch Taylor and I all played Uprising in Vegas. We played sealed and draft, and so we actually have a little hands-on experience with these heroes. And yeah, I agree that theoretically in CC she's got a lot of the Phantasm is such a heavy weakness for her compared to Prism, who has the auras to get around that. And Footsteps works better with Prism because Footsteps don't work with allies. So Dromai is a big question mark for CC. But in terms of limited, I think there's very few poppers in this set, and there's like one common, and then like a couple of rares or majestics, and like so it's really hard for her Phantasm to get her. So I think with the right card pool, she's a powerhouse in limited for sure. She's probably like an eight power level.
Yeah, I didn't get too much experience against her. I think I played against a single Dromai during the world premiere. Um, they were able to get the little dragons out pretty consistently, but I was able to take care of them pretty easily. I think they were only able to invoke one dragon. I think they said that they had 5 or 6 in their deck, but they just weren't able to be able to save the resources to be able to actually get them out. But of course, CC, that's going to be different. She's going to be able to build her deck around the dragons pretty well. Um, I don't think Dromai is going to be super crazy top tier, but I think she's going to be a pretty good contender. And over time, once people really figure out the little tricks that she has, I think she's going to find her own place and have. I think her hero power, and everything is pretty good. Um, I I don't think she's going to be horrible.
Mm. Yeah. Pitching red cards sounds bad, but like once you throw in the chess piece, and once you see she'll happily pitch 2 to 3 red cards to create a pile of ash, and then like next turn you're facing down a crap load of little dragons. It gets out of control really quickly. She's pretty explosive in certain situations.
And I think it'll really come down to fine tuning the deck building. I think there's so many different options, like just fill a deck full of dragons. But I think finding synergies with the regular Draconic cards and then the certain type of dragons that you'll sideboard in and out for different matchups. I think she'll find a lot more success once the decks are a little more fine tuned than just looking at the vast majority of Draconic Illusionist cards that she has available.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of people like almost everybody's experienced dealing with a bunch of spectral shields and getting just slapped by a bunch of little tiny spectral shields. And these are the same, roughly. But spectral shields can get destroyed just by enough pressure. These can only get destroyed by the right cards.
Right.
So there's that amount of pressure, as well as if you pop one, you're popping one, not 8. I think it's reasonable to expect Dromai to be able to put up some pressure once people figure out how to play.
Yeah. Go for it.
On that same note that you're talking about, like the difference of if you send a big attack to pop spectral shields, you can deal a little bit of damage to Prism, if it's just a shield and stuff. It's really annoying having to send a full attack at the little baby dragons. Even if you're going wide with like 5 or something, you're still having to dedicate a whole attack to a dragon and then keep moving forward. So it is going to be, and with how easy it seemingly to make the dragons, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I had a guy play the dragon that makes more dragons every turn, and like as Icelander, I was like, I'm not going to dedicate a 5 damage spell to a baby dragon, and he's going to make more every turn. So I kind of had to face race because it was like unmanageable with my hero's archetype. So
how big is that dragon? Oh,
it's
we'll
a 1/6, but yeah, I literally had 0 cards in my deck that could kill it because allies heal every turn. I literally could not kill that dragon. And so that's kind of the power she has, is like if you can't kill it, it's gonna get out of control. If you can't pop it, you can't kill it in one shot. It's like you got a big problem on your hands. And I was thinking that like even though we were thinking Phantasm was gonna auto lose her into like Guardians and Brutes, like you can make a crap load of those baby dragons like near infinite. Like I did some goldfishing and I ended up with 12 pretty quick within a few turns. Even though like a Guardian could keep popping the first one and you pass the turn, they're going to run out of cards eventually. Like she might outvalue those heroes. I'm not sure. Cause like the moment the floodgates open and you have like 50 baby dragons ready to go, right? You one shot them as soon as they have a hand that doesn't have a pop card, or like you manage to do multiple attacks or something.
Yeah, and like I just get like nightmare flashbacks to, the Prism board state where you're just like getting pinged down by like a board state of 6 auras. Like you're saying, 12 baby dragons, like you only got 4 cards and some armor to block. Like once you get in the lower health totals, it's gonna be really rough, really fast if you don't draw into a popper.
Yep. I honestly think she's better than I think she's better than I initially was thinking. I think she's like an 8 or a 9, honestly.
Yeah, I'm giving with an 8, but definitely a harder deck to build, I think, to get it higher.
I think you
got
to be real careful in some matchups, but you could probably pull it out.
Yeah.
Okay, I can agree with an 8.
She's fire.
She's fire.
Fire.
Oh, and so there's Dromai, and then there's the Dromami.
The Dromami.
All right. So getting into her card pool, we have Silken Form, Draconic Illusionist Arms, instant destroy Silken Form, transform target ash you control into an Aether Ashwing. That's turn one of your ashes into a little baby dragon. Quell 1. It has a new keyword, Quell 1. Quell works like Arcane Barrier, but for all damage. So if you would be dealt damage, you can pay 1 to prevent it. Exactly like Arcane Barrier, but it's any damage source. So Reckless Swing or arcane damage or physical damage, whatever it is, you can quell it. And quell, a lot of people miss this in our limited play. You can quell multiple times per turn. So quell reads, if you do destroy Silken Form at the beginning of the end phase. So you have the whole turn to pay into quell. So if someone attacks with like 10 baby dragons or a bunch of Phoenix Flames, you can go pay one, and quell all that damage across all those sources. So quell is actually quite powerful in certain situations. And then what I've seen Nathan do, practicing with him with our early limited decks, he would quell my damage and then at instant speed before it's destroyed, destroy it to turn an Ash into an Aether Ashwing. So you can squeeze a lot of value out of this thing.
Wouldn't pitching red to quell also create an Ash with Dromai hero power? Yeah, the synergy there is pretty gross.
Yes.
I had a guy pitch 2 reds to prevent damage with the Helios Mitra, the helmet everyone starts with, and he comboed into a card we'll see in a little bit. But just showing off that hero power, pitching reds is not as bad as it seems.
Yep. This is pretty much a limited piece of equipment, but it may not be, because like the weird illusion, the legendary illusionist gloves are not like the greatest thing. Honestly, they may be more of a prism thing. So these could see CC play for just to squeeze that bit of value out of them. There's not too many better options.
Looking at this card, I have the same feelings I had when I looked the first time at Quillhand.
Like oh, it's kind of like really niche, but then
yeah. So like, I want to say it's decent, and it's a good budget option that makes Illusionist more of a playable class, Draconic Illusionist specifically. But then I want to say I'm an idiot. It's probably really busted somehow, like that I don't see, like Quillhand was.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's busted. I just think it's really good value, though. I think you cover up, you cover up some damage, and then you make a dragon. Like,
yeah.
The question is like, are Iron Rock Gauntlets going to be better than that, or is a one-time no phantasm attack going to be better than that? I kind of don't think so. I kind of think this is just everything she wants with her game plan. Pitch reds, make dragons, avoid damage. Like, I think it does it all. I'm not saying it's super stellar. It's a common piece of equipment, but she doesn't have much else that's super exciting in that slot. So, like, honestly, this might make it into CC.
If I just got a quick question about this, because the Ashwings have AB1.
They do.
So if you did do Quell 1 and then destroyed Silken Form at instant speed, are you allowed to use the AB1 on the damage that would be coming in?
I don't. I have to say I don't. Oh wait. I don't.
You have to resolve this, which has the Transform Ashwing, and then you can pay into the AB.
Right, but wouldn't you have to pay for the arcane damage all at once, or when it's because this quell is if your hero would be dealt damage. It's like when you're being hit by the damage. I don't. Yeah. That sounds like a partial resolution. If you're like, hold on, let's wait on this damage. I'm gonna transform this and then get AB. I think you could.
It's an instant.
Yeah, I think you could instant before you start paying for damage. I think that personally, I think that's how it would be resolved. Is that you can't quell, then break it, then AB. I think you'd have to break this, then AB.
Yeah, that's kind of where my thought process was going with it. But I was like, that would be kind of a sneaky way if it did work in the way where you could pay for the quell, then create one, and then pay for the AB. But it just doesn't seem like it should work that way.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure you can't partially pay for the damage source, and then I think you could do it if it was like Helios Mitre, where Mitre says like prevent the next X damage or whatever.
Yeah.
But this is like as you're taking damage, pay one. So, but anyway, yeah, I don't think this is super insane, but I think it's like a 6 or a 7. It's like it's playable and it's really good and limited. You want to draft this if you're playing limited if you can.
I gave it a 7, especially because it's a common. It's definitely an above rate piece of equipment for a common. So I'm giving it a 7.
I'll give it a 7 as well.
Yep, 7.
Sick. Storm of Sandakai. I don't think we really have to rate this one because there's no other option for her.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just like Luminaris.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be played, and
There's literally no, like, you can give her Iris of Reality
Iris.
and make her an unplayable hero, but
Yeah,
I mean-
let's go.
Watch what the word literally means. Okay, guy, there's another option.
yeah.
Talonflower.
I mean, this might as well
And-
be an auto 10. Every Dromai's gonna use it, or you're.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's
Mitch had a good option. Talishar.
Yeah.
There's no
Talishar.
explanation needed. It just
So good.
enables your dragons to hit.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise you're literally summoning your dragons and they do nothing. They sit on the board and don't. Do
Yeah, it might as
anything.
well be part of her hero power.
Yeah. I'm kind of bummed they did this because there's no options, and options is what I really want to see in the game. You know, a big suite of equipment that do different things. And like, you could argue that our Iris somewhat competes with, I mean, it doesn't really compete with Luminaris, but like they do things similar things, but differently. And like, you could play one or the other. You can't really play anything else in Dromai except for this. So I'm a little bummed that they didn't do a majestic weapon, but it is what it is. This attack with your dragons. All right. Burn them all. Red 0 cost, Draconic Illusionist Aura. Blocks for 3. Go again once per turn. When a dragon you control attacks, it deals 1 arcane damage to each opposing hero. At the beginning of your end phase, put a raise counter on Burn Them All, then destroy it unless you banish a red card from your graveyard for each raise counter on it. Thoughts on this card? And I will clarify, it does only do it 1 arcane damage once per turn. It is not on every dragon that attacks.
Yeah. I mean, maybe if you got 3 of those in hand, you slap them all down, and you attack with a dragon, and you get 3 arcane coming in. That's nice. But that is
let me hit
just
you
a
with
horrible
this.
thing to do.
Oh,
It's
dang
not
it.
great. I don't think that this card is very good.
What are you hitting us with?
No, I read the card and it didn't work. I was just saying, we're now
Yeah.
running red breakneck battery,
What does that card do?
but it's at your end phase. If it's put face up into a banish zone, gain an action point.
Wait, isn't that that's like back alley break line?
Oh, back alley
Yeah.
break line. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
yeah, it has
this
to come from your deck. Anyways, yeah, go ahead, Taylor.
It seems underwhelming, but in a I don't know. I think with the overwhelming dragons and stuff, it's just an extra ping, and I don't know how expensive or how like banishing the reds out of your graveyard. I don't know how long, like if you want it this late game, to just kind of add the pressure already onto a insurmountable board state. But yeah, 1 arcane to mix things up already onto a field of like 4 to 8 dragons. It definitely adds up.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong about that. And like, she could win games by incremental, just little tiny, pinging with the dragons. Play very patiently. You throw in the mixed damage, and they don't want to pitch a card for 1 AB. I mean, obviously, like Oldhim would, because he's gonna crown anyway. But most other people though are probably not gonna. If you do 1 arcane mixed in with all your dragon pings, they're probably not gonna pitch a card for it. So like, this could get you 3 or 4 pings before you've banished your whole graveyard away. Yeah, it's.
The thought is, you want to land this in the middle of the game. You don't want it in the beginning of the game. Late game would be fine too, but middle of the game, this puts the most pressure. Spreading damage, as well as if you get it middle of the game, it's likely to go 0 for 4. How many 0 for 4 go-agains just get in the deck? Like in everybody's decks. A lot of them.
Yeah, they're all 0 for 4 is great.
Even 0 for 4 conditional go-again. And this is likely to be that 0 for 4 in the middle of the game. And if I had a card that said 0, deal 1, deal 1, deal 1, deal 1, that's better than deal 4.
I
So,
definitely think this card sucks early game. Like, you just do not want to see
yeah,
this
it's getting
early.
pitched, which is
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, you make an Ash. It's good.
But then you also have to think, like, what is her game plan? You playing a red is good, pitching a red is good, also blocking 3 is good. So, like, I don't know. I think this card seems
I
underwhelming, but it kind of goes into the theme of her deck, pinging and pitching it. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's not awful.
Yeah, I think the more we dive into it, I think it just wants to be we want it to be a crazy card because of the art and it's a majestic and you want it to be really flashy and impactful, but it's just like really solid fundamentals, honestly, and it's like in little tiny bits of value that add up. And I think that's kind of that is her overall. When you think about 12 ash wings and your like, people are distracted killing your big dragons, but the little dragons are the ones that are actually killing your opponent and that kind of stuff. This just adds to that. And like you pointed out, pitching it's good, blocking with it's good, playing it's good. So better card than better card than I initially thought.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7. I think it's above rate, but due to its like conditional where you want to see it throughout the game, I think it can't be higher than a 7. But I think it goes with everything she wants.
I think it's also a 7. It's like it's gonna get played. It's not crazy. It's just a solid card.
Also, the art, the cold foil of this card
Oh
looks
yeah,
ridiculous.
It's a really cool card.
I had a guy pull one next to me in the premiere. The cold foil is
Yeah.
so sick. It looks even better in person.
I give it a 7, and just like Taylor said, the reason being is because it is dependent on what point of the game you are is how strong it is. Admittedly, pitching a red for Dromai is good, but I'll give it a 7 because I think it's auto include in Dromai, and that's all that it needs to be good.
I'm gonna break the mold. I'm gonna give it a 5.
Hey, I knew
I think
Mitch
there's
would.
a lot of other cards out there that Dromai wants in her deck over this. That have a lot more synergy with how her deck will work. But hopefully I'm wrong and that this will just be a card that, is an auto, 2 to 3 of in the deck, and it does put that extra pressure mid to late game that really pushes her over the top, So
It honestly might be a one of because
I was
it's
thinking
so
the same thing.
expensive to banish. Like if you're on your 4th ping, you're banishing your 10th red card at the end of that turn, and that's a lot. That's expensive.
Oh yeah.
I mean, late game, you might get really far with 2 of these because your discard pile could be super full. I mean, if she goes long, like quite often, but like that's a lot of cards to banish. Like 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. It adds up really quickly. So like possibly this is just a one of.
I
And
see it
who
as a
knows?
one of.
I feel like there will be more synergy in the future for this card. I feel like this is kind of just a little bit of a taste of what there is to come for her.
Let me go
Ooh.
to the invoke here. Invoke a Dracona Optimi. Costs 6, blocks for 3, and you get to summon. Well, and you have to transform an Ash token into Dracona Optimi. He is a 6/6, 6 attack, 6 health ally. Whenever Dracona Optimi attacks a hero, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. He deals arcane damage equal to twice the number of red cards revealed this way to them or an ally they control. And early deck lists seem like they're going to be extremely red heavy. So this is likely to hit 2 to 3 red cards when it attacks.
Which is a lot of damage.
Yeah. I'd say most of the time you can expect this to be 12 attack or 12 damage when it swings. Or so wait, no, that's the full. I meant to say
10.
Oh, cuz it's 2. Yeah, it's
It's
typically going to
twice.
be 10 damage, yeah.
I think that's reasonable. For 4, right? On the turn it drops.
It's 6.
It's
6.
6. It's very expensive.
That's really hard to reach in Dromai,
That's-
likely, but
Yeah.
I kind of think the 6 cost almost makes this unplayable or just
you kind of
very
need it.
clunky.
Like at this point, in Arsenal, pitch 4, pay for the chest. Like
Yeah.
But like, what do you pitch for? You can't, because you can't just pitch into the chest. I did some
Oh,
I did some
Yeah.
fishing, and I was like, I don't even know how I can pitch red cards for this. Like, you have to have blues to be able
I'm-
to
Yeah.
play this.
I'm really wondering if there's gonna be like different archetype builds for Dromai. Like you build around a couple like you can have maybe a blue or heavy deck to play bigger dragons, and I don't know if that's a good build because of the 6 attack decks, your opponents, but like I don't know, the 6 attack dragons seem or 6 cost dragons seem just almost impossible to play with the
And
amount of reds she runs.
so keep in mind that this is a one of. It's a legendary. The majestic
true.
dragons are all one of. So you don't really build your deck around them. You kind of, I kind of figured you'd splash them in because they're one ofs, but like, and it could fit into a different deck archetype where you run more blues. I don't think you can run red line. I don't think this can work in your deck if you're mostly red, like less than, we're talking like less than 15 blues or something. Like, you can't run this. It's just you're gonna draw it. I mean, you can pitch it. Maybe late game. Maybe that's the point. Maybe late game you end up at the bottom of the deck with just your few blues left and this, and maybe that's how it's supposed to work. You're not supposed to summon it early game.
Weren't they saying or describing her as a combo deck? So like
Combo control is what I've heard. Yeah.
early game, you're staying alive and pinging them down, and pitching all your reds or playing all your reds and stuff, and getting your attacks, your draconic attacks out while you're kind of pitch stacking something like this. And this late game is a nightmare to see, like 6 with mixed damage.
Yeah, and when it's the arcane damage is dealt when it attacks, so it can't even be popped by Phantasm yet.
Like
So
the
like the
biggest-
arcane damage could just end your opponent because it does it all in one chunk, right? Yeah, it could do a chunk of 6 arcane damage. And if you're in an end game scenario, your opponent doesn't have AB6. They're probably at AB1 at most against your.
This is the
against Illusionist.
scariest Rosetta Thorn you've ever seen.
Yeah, 6 and 6.
What are you gonna do about it?
Honestly, now that we've kind of gone through it, I like this a lot more. I think you pitch it. I think you pitch it as soon as you see it and wait till late game.
It pitches for 1 is a red.
It's a
One,
red,
right?
yeah.
All the dragons. are
This
red.
might be. So you get like we'll use Dory for instance. Dory's pitches goes like really hard early, and then once you get to second cycle, you're just on blues, and so your damage is minuscule. But Dromai might be a go wide deck that can mitigate that with things like Dracona Optimi. Pitch a bunch of blues, pitch Dracona Optimi. You draw a hand that's 3 blues and Dracona Optimi. You are not unhappy.
Right. And
Yeah.
yeah, because at that point, even if all you do is summon Dracona, and well, I mean, he is a red card, so your other dragons have go again too, because you played a red card. So that honestly, a blue hand with him works really well. You summon him, you do an ass load of damage, you probably close out the game. I don't think you really want to summon this mid game, early game. Unless you're against a class that doesn't have poppers and you happen to draw the blues with it, this is a late game bomb.
I think it's exactly a late game bomb.
Yeah, he's a closer.
I like it. I like it a
Also-
lot more than I thought. That seems to be that we talked through it, and I'm like, wow, this is actually a good card. The game design is so fucking good.
Dude, the game design on this whole set is insane and just super creative. And the art. We have to take 3 seconds and talk about this art. Oh my gosh.
Oops, nope, it's gone.
That art too. Hey, we can talk about that art too.
I know, dude. I want the highest rarity of everything in this set. It's gonna be a long journey. Thank God there's no first edition and unlimited, because like the whole life cycle we get to play this set, and every time you crack a pack, it's gonna be super exciting.
I know, it almost
I
makes
can
me
pull Marvels.
It almost makes me not want to buy the Marvels just because we're gonna be playing so much sealed and just
Mhm.
like I'm waiting for this one, I'm waiting for that one, and
Yep.
just like
Yeah.
keep it exciting.
Yep, totally.
Uh,
I'm kind of my brain's floating around an 8 here if you play it properly.
I think I'm at a 6. I know we talked about it and we got there. I do think with the little bit of testing Nathan was talking about, I just worry about the blue content and the anti synergy with some of the blues. I'm hopeful for Dracona Optimi being a good late game finisher, but I'm gonna put him at a 6.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I'll go in between because that's where I feel in between both of you. I think I'm at a 7 on this.
Oh my, we're all different on this one. Bill?
I'm gonna give it an 8
Nice.
because I think it's that game closer. Like when I think about a card that's like way worse than it, or it seems way worse than it is because of how much it's used as a closer, it's Reckless Swing,
Yeah.
right? And this is actually good.
Hey, I hate Reckless Swing.
This does a lot more than 2 damage.
Yeah, I like it. I'm giving it an 8. I'm with Justin.
Hey, until now,
Nice.
Reckless Swing was unpreventable.
Yeah, we got Quell now.
It
Definitely
just
run.
says
You definitely running some Quell, and with all most classes don't fill out their Blitz sideboard totally
yeah.
optimally, and now you can throw Quell in and be like, yeah, look, come at me, Brute.
Brutes can't just dig for Reckless Swing anymore. I'm coming for you, Brutes.
All right,
Ooh.
this one's my personal favorite. I think for its effect. I honestly, my favorite art is the lightning icy looking dragon, but this effect is by far my favorite. Okay, all right, we got
this art is one of my favorites.
This art is also super sick. 5 cost, invoke Tumultai. A legendary invocation, transform an ash. Blocks for 3, red card. You know it. Tumultai, 5 attack, 5 health. Whenever he attacks a hero, reveal the top 2 cards of your deck. If one or more red cards are revealed this way, put that many -1 counters on an equipment they control. Then if it has 0 armor, destroy it. My God, if you don't have a popper and like somehow, I mean, you have to hold 5 attack in your hand to kill this because you can't let this hit attack twice. Like you will lose all of your armor. You will have no armor left. It's crazy. This doesn't even have to hit. Like before you can phantasm this thing, it gets to destroy. It gets to melt your armor off, and it gets to look at 2 cards off the top. And typically, the most important armor you're going to be looking at already has 0 or 1 armor. So if you reveal 1 red card, you're destroying a choice piece of equipment from your opponent. This card is nuts.
This armor could, or this dragon could make the Oldhim match a lot better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
we're gonna get rid of Crowded Seeds real quick.
Yeah, get that shit out of here. Like that doesn't help your phantasm problem against him, but like he doesn't get to cycle, doesn't get to block that damage. Like
he's a lot slower.
In like against Prism, you blast their footsteps, and then if you ever pop one of their cards, you take the game and run away with it. Like you hit 2 red cards, you can melt fucking what's the Guardian chess piece? The
Tectonic Blading.
Tectonic Blading. Like imagine, like you've never seen that happen before. You just like you're playing against Bravo for some reason. You're just like remove his chess piece.
Tech Plating. He's pissed. I think this becomes public enemy number 1 if you put this out on the field. Like any hero's like, all right, we got to take a turn off and kill this thing.
Yeah.
This is effectively Dromai's Arclight Sentinel.
Yeah, I actually think he's right.
Like,
oh man,
it costs 5 though.
Costs 5.
So again, a little expensive.
1 cheaper than Arclight Sentinel.
No, I have a quick question. Could you go back to the invocation? So this card is going to the graveyard, correct?
I have no idea.
Okay.
It's double-sided, so I don't
because they flip
think so.
They don't.
I don't think so. I think you pay for it and you flip it.
Okay. Because that's kind of what I was thinking was you pay for it, you flip it. It is now currently Tumultai. It is no longer the invoke card. So when it goes to the graveyard, it is Tumultai.
Yeah, because I was wondering the same thing. If you could,
when it goes to the graveyard, it is invoke Tumultai.
It goes back to the invoke.
They are always on their front side in other zones.
Oh, it goes back to the invoke.
Yeah.
So yeah, but like Tumultai has to die. I don't think you can summon Tumultai and then like remembrance back in the invoke and then get a second Tumultai.
Yeah. I was just thinking once he's dead.
Tumultai?
Yeah, you could put him back in the deck with remembrance. Like your 3 big dragons die, and then you're like, Well, that's too
And
bad.
then you go, hey,
Remembers.
remember those dragons?
Yeah.
And shuffle them back in.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
This one though, I honestly like. He's super impactful. Like he's the most impactful the first time he attacks. After that, you're kind of just like oozing too much value. Like, I mean, like then you get someone's tunic and you're like that felt good, but honestly, then you're looking at like Ironhide. But yeah, you're like, okay, do we really need to destroy more equipment? So like, I wouldn't focus too much on like putting this back in your deck.
No,
But
I was just thinking in general.
yeah, for sure. This thing's honestly like a 10 to me. This effect is insane, and a 5/5 stat line is great. 5 damage is great. And 5 is honestly, when you think about the furnace, and I think 5 is a lot easier to hit than 6. Because you can do 1 blue and a couple of reds, and you can get there, and then you're making ash and all that. So 5 is way better than 6.
Yeah.
This is definitely one that you are okay with getting out early in the game or mid.
You want this turn 1. You want
Like,
this turn, like somehow turn 0.
man.
You summon this and you go, your thing's dead. Like, good luck.
You
Dude.
draw a blue,
Gross.
a blue. Yeah, you draw 2 blues. This thing.
You have to make an ash somehow. So you got to like pitch a red somehow, which if you had this, 2 blues, actually, you could have 2 reds, this and a blue. You could pitch for the furnace because you can just pitch a red for the furnace and you have 1 floating. Pay the blue and the other red to summon this, and then just annihilate Prism's footsteps, and then the game's over. You've already won. Like it's kind of that crazy.
I think
This is the one dragon that makes me want to play Dromai.
Yeah, I think this is also a 9 or a 10. I'm just super curious to see what the decks look like with the blue content for the decks. But yeah, I just think I'm going to be on the opposing side of this hero. I'm looking at some of the other heroes like Fi and stuff, and I do not want to see this thing. So yeah, I think it's a 9 or a 10.
Yeah, I give it a 10. I'd love to wither down a carrion husk.
That'd be hilarious. A 0 block carrion husk, or like 1 block left on it, and they go block with carrion husk.
Yeah, I'm at a 10 for this as well. I think this is probably an auto add into any Dromai list, but I don't know if it would be an auto bring into every matchup.
No, yeah. Some matchups, you maybe just opt for more dragons that fit that matchup. There are definitely some matchups where you just go, if I delete that equipment, that hero doesn't function.
Yeah.
Bro,
Look
and
at you, Bolton.
Anybody running Courage of Bladehold, any combo dual sword deck, you melt that chess piece, and they are like my win condition just left of the
dude,
board.
the warrior does not want to see any of this.
No,
This is
sir.
anti-warrior all over it.
Oh, and I've been thinking in pure terms of like CC this whole time for this. This and Blitz, I think is pretty gross because you're taking away not only 5 of their health, or like you're presenting 5 damage, but you're taking away their armor.
This might as well
armor
present
Blitz is so
7
big.
damage.
Yeah.
This is a 7 damage swing. If you hit -2 armor, yeah, for sure. Sick card. All right. The third Majestic Dragon, Invoke Dominia, 4 cost. You sensing a theme here? Do you see how they went 6/5/4? And turn a Ash into Dominia. It is a 4/4 dragon. Whenever it attacks a hero, reveal the top card of your deck. And they did reveal 3 cards, 2 cards, 1 card. It's cool. It's cool math. Whenever Dominia attacks a hero, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a red card, look at their hand and banish a card from it.
I think this is my favorite.
So good.
This is like the best control card in the game.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Especially if you're against a class that has like some poppers but not a ton, like an opposing illusionist who's teched in for you, or anyone's gonna tech. Like almost every class is gonna tech 6 attack cards for illusionists still. But like they might have a popper. You attack with this. You hit your red on the top. You look at their hand. You go, nice 6 attack, banished. It's just fucking. It's gone. You didn't even like put it to the bottom. They don't get to redraw a card. This ain't Phantasmaclasm. That shit's gone. It's fucking out of the match. It's off. It's just you just melt a card out of their hand. Not only even if they have nothing you care about, you took a card from their hand, like forcibly. The most powerful thing you can do in Flesh and Blood is like force your opponent to block, and this just removes a card from them. You just take it away.
It also doesn't have to hit. It's just whenever it
It's
attacks.
just, it's just as soon as it attacks.
The crazy thing is you could look at their hand and just be like, well, you could take a popper, but you could also just be like, oh, three reds and a blue. We're gonna get rid of your blue. We're gonna get rid of your resources for the turn.
Exactly. This thing has a lot of applications. The one drawback it has is that it only looks at one card, which like it's gonna hit a lot of the time. But I did some gold fishing and I hit a blue when I attacked with it once and I hit a blue. It's like it's gonna happen, and then it's just a 4
Gotta
attack.
take blues out of your deck, I guess.
Yeah.
All red all the time, baby.
Now you
So-
can't cast the card.
Yeah, so it's like that's the one drawback, which I think is gonna hold this back at like a 7 or 8 for me. Like when it hits, it's a 10. Obviously, when that effect hits, this card's like off the charts. It's insane
Also,
value.
It's not hard for any class to kill this thing. 4 is a really easy number for any.
Who doesn't
class
have
to
0
hit.
for 4? Like we were talking earlier. It's like most weapons kill this.
I was gonna say even people's weapons can just.
Winter's Wail into your dragon's skull, just bonk. It's gone.
Yeah, it's gonna squeak into a 7 for me just because I do think it's the best control card in the game.
Yeah, I think it has to be minimum a 7 because it not having to hit, and you can just take tempo back depending on the card you draw. You're like, let me look at your hand. I'm gonna take that. You have no resources. Thanks for tempo.
Right, and they're gonna have to kill this. You cannot let this attack multiple times, right? You're basically data doll at that point. You're letting your opponent put you to 3 intellect. but you draw 4 and then burn the best card in your hand, which is way worse.
Yeah. But I'm just imagining some of these dragons with like 3 or 4 ash wings there. You're like, you have to kill this one. But then there's still like all these.
It's the Genesis effect, right? It's like I have to kill Genesis, but God, there's all this other shit that's killing me.
But
and
Merciful
I
and
can't handle
Haze
it
Bending
all.
are there, and I hate my life.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, well, Dominion's got to go, but Tumultie's sitting over there too.
I know. In the army of Ashwings, like, oh my gosh. Can you imagine how busted she'd be if she didn't have Phantasm?
Oh, all of these would be just
What?
nutso busto, yeah. All right, this is the one. This is like, I just can't get over how good this art is. I love it, and it's Federico. Oh man, I can't wait to get one of these full arts signed. 0 cost, the stark difference from the other ones. Transform target Ash you control into Asvalai. Asvalai is a 2/3. Whenever it attacks, you may have him deal 1 arcane damage to up to any 2 targets. So you can do 2 physical and 1 arcane to your opponent. If they're not an ally class. If they are an ally class, you can do 2. You can threaten 2 damage on like an opposing Dromai and kill 2 Ashwings. I think it's a sideboard card. I don't think you'd put this in every matchup. I think literally currently just Dromai mirrors.
Yeah, I see this as an anti-Dromai mirror card. Or an anti-Dromai card.
Got to put it against Levia too. You know, all those times that she's bringing Blasphemous out.
And you're gonna deal 1 arcane damage to Blasphemous and then hit it with 5 Ashwings.
And then Tumultie hit kills it.
Oh my God, you're right. We take 2 counters off a husk. We kill Blasphemous.
So
amazing.
Darn.
And we swing at the other one and discard a blood debt card they can't play for banish.
Oh
Levia's
my
dead.
god.
Levia's unplayable now.
I can't
got hit
believe it.
again.
It's really hard for me to rate this. Like, if we talk about the Dromai mirror, this card is like an 8. It's a very good swing. If we talk about most other people, this card is like a 4. It's like you're really not doing anything. But then you also have to think about it's a body. It's an ally on the board. It's only a 2/3, but your opponent has to clear that if they don't want you to have a free 2/3 or free 2 attack 3 attack every turn.
What would you feel if Thorn did 1 less arcane damage, was free, and had Gogan?
I think it'd be busted, and I'm on the same page as Bill. I think this costs 0. It's a red. It blocks 3, and it's essentially just a better Ashwing.
Well, I get that, but
Yeah.
but you just have there's so many other dragons and you can't fit them all into a deck. So like
Hey,
just one
try
of the other higher value dragons is going to take this place in most of your other matches.
This one's not legendary, right?
No, it's like a rare.
Yeah,
or
3 of
common
these
or
on the
something.
board is disgusting.
I agree with Bill. I think this is disgusting. It's just like a blue
Oh,
aura. Like
yeah, you
it's
could
just
drop 3 of these at
yeah.
once.
How much did it cost again?
0.
Oh, but
I
this
have it.
card's busted. I'm in
I'm-
on it.
Okay.
I'm on a 9. This card's disgusting.
Now,
Yeah, give
one
it a
thing
9.
I had asked Justin about before,
It's got go again.
no, the target. Are you able to target auras?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Auras can't take damage.
No, but
Spectra
to
says
ta-
when an attack is declared at it.
Yeah, I think you could.
So
you have to attack them directly
yeah.
with the
Yeah.
physical damage.
Unless
would
they
be-
change wording, but if they change wording, Prism is obsolete.
Prism
Yeah,
is
I don't-
unplayable
Yeah.
if you could target, because like Singe, like the new spell Singe would annihilate Prism. Like
I don't
think it works like that.
I don't think it works like that either.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful that there will be something somewhere, that states that, just so that way people don't have to ask about it and whatnot.
Yeah, I'd imagine they will, but we'll see.
Okay, so you guys think this is nutso, and I totally get where you're coming from, but once we see the rest of the dragons, I think it'll, like, the other ones just do more damage or have better effects, and like I get
But
it,
you can
I
have
get
them
it.
all.
You can shove them all in your deck. I don't think it'll be a very good deck, but you can totally do that.
Hey, you shoved all the auras
what we
in a
said
deck
about
and won a
auras.
broke
I
one.
know. I'm not saying it's not impossible. Like it's totally, you just shove all the dragons in the deck, but I don't think that's how it's gonna work.
I'm pitching dragons to make dragons.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's how it works, right? Biology and stuff.
So I'm at like a 7. It's a sideboard card. You guys were at like 9.
I'm
Yeah.
a 9.
I'll put it at a 7 as well.
All
It's
right.
fire.
A reasonable person. Invoke Dromai. Another
Another
0 cost.
0.
You like to see it. Once per turn, it's a 3/2. Once per turn, when Dromai attacks or leaves the arena, gain 1 action point.
Cool.
That's a
No.
solid dragon.
Now 3 of these on the board,
an attack that gains you an action point.
and we're playing
Busted.
Prism. We're playing Prism all of a sudden. You have a handful of Illusionist attacks. You attack with 3 of these before you do anything, and then you play 3 Illusionist attacks, even though they don't have go again. Huh?
Yeah, I don't think Prism wants this matchup.
Prism cannot play auras into. I'm very confident saying that with no testing. Prism cannot play auras into Dromai.
I mean, but well, yeah, and illusionists can't. Illusionist 6s can't break.
They
Phantasm,
can't
right?
pop each other's stuff, but they'll both tech in 6s, like regular 6s for each other for sure.
Raging Onslaught, CNC, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, in Dromai, I personally like
Erase
Erase Face, and CNC. Because you
Forgot
don't
about Erase Face.
like you could
Red.
run the red Raging Onslaught, but that seems overkill. Like you can pitch it, but it's not as good as Prism having a 3-block yellow pitch. I don't know. But yeah, gaining action points, and like Dromai also gets the luxury of running like red lead the charge, just because it's so synergistic with everything. So like she could end up on a build that gains a ton of action points to try to play around the Phantasm that she can't really recover from like Prism can. And yeah, Dromai opens up a lot of weird plays with cards that don't have go again, like CNC into Erase Face, like that kind of shit.
Let's go. That's the kind of deck I want to play.
I can't remember specifically. There was a cool combo I saw when I was goldfishing, but like this card, just gaining an extra action point does a lot, especially if they are not popping your Phantasm and you just have an extra action point to play around with. You can do a lot with that.
Yeah, just actually sitting down and taking time to read these things and kind of brainstorming them. These effects, like having a board state with even 2 of these dragons, you can start doing some nutty things.
Next. Oh, we
I
didn't
think
get
that,
power.
yeah, I think this is like a 9 or a 10. Like this is a state. This has to. I think this goes in every build of Dromai. I think it's that important.
I think it's a 10. I think it's a staple.
Yeah,
I think it's a 3 of.
I think yeah,
It's
3 of for
absolutely a
sure,
3 of.
100%.
It's a
It
10.
it dies real quick though.
Yeah, but some matchups it'll be really rough. It'll just get knocked off really easily. But like, there's other matchups like your Guardian and your Brutes where like they have to commit an attack to this. Like they need it gone, or you're pulling 2 cards from them every turn.
Like how badly would you want this into a like a Fi matchup, just a very aggro matchup?
Honestly, you could probably side it out in that. You probably don't need unless your build ends up in a weird spot where like you actively use the action points to play multiple attacks that don't have go again. I doubt that's going to be the build. So you probably would side this out in those matchups where they're going to easily kill it and where it does not really impact your game plan.
Yeah.
I think a race face is probably going to be a staple in her as well.
I think a race face is going to see the play in a lot of decks.
I think a race face is going to be an
it hits
expensive
It's
majestic.
the new CNC.
Yeah, it hits so many cards. The fact that they made it 2 block is the only thing keeping it from being like the same price as CNC, honestly.
Yeah. I give that thing a 7.
Invoke Killoria. 1 cost. I actually like 1 cost a lot in Dromai. Pitching a red to play a red is very good. Make Ash give dragons go again. Transfer target Ash you control into Killoria. I don't think you cannot play it and target the Ash that you make when you pitch a red. So you have to have Ash already. This does not make Ash for itself.
Yeah, because of the target keyword. It says target Ash.
You need a target when you play it, because you play then you pay. You don't pay and then make Ash and then play.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Killoria, whenever it hits a hero, gain control of an item they control. If you don't, gain control of an item this way. Draw a card. It is a 4/2.
Yeah, a guy played this in sealed, and I was Fi, but he was just dealing 4 damage and drawing a card. It was brutal.
This is honestly, I'm like, okay, baseline, a 4 go again, a snatch ally, like you have snatch as an ally is amazing. I'm so excited to steal an item from somebody. Like, think about Dash. Like, somehow you set up a play where you summon 3 of these and they can't stop them all, and you take her induction chamber. You're like, that's mine now.
My favorite thought is taking a microprocessor. Like, you're already playing against a data doll, so do they really deserve this? But, you know.
I don't know. I think about, like, the Kano matchup. You steal
oh no, not my energy potion.
You steal an E-pot.
And Kano sucks at blocking 4 really badly. No.
You instant and you make 2 resources and you don't let them get the E-pot.
That's the only solution. I mean, like, if it's gonna happen, you have to just break the E-pot. Like,
give me or your potion of deja vu.
Oh my god.
Give me the deja vu. Taking deja vu would be meaner.
And then you just crack it to like put like a red dragon you pitched back on top of your deck. You're like, nice. Oh my god, this thing is so sick. I love it.
But the fact that it has the if you don't gain control of an item, draw a card, because a lot of classes don't. You're just gonna be drawing cards.
Most classes are not gonna have an item down. This is such a weird but like amazing combination of effects. They're like, yeah, you're gonna brutalize people who play items, but if you don't, it's not useless. It's really good actually to just draw a card.
This one costs 1.
Yeah, it's cost 1 to summon. Yeah.
Unusual.
I think.
Yeah, this is good.
I think the synergy on this thing. The only thing holding it back is it's really easy to kill, which for balancing reasons is very important. If it had more health, it'd be disgusting. But yeah, I think on a board of already difficult targets for your opponent to keep or to evaluate which to attack, I think this thing's a solid 9.
I would agree. I think it's like a 9.
And I think you would still be bringing this in with the aggro matchup, because You're
Oh
likely gonna
yeah,
be,
I mean,
like getting a
it's
card out
a
of their hand.
1 for 4 is
block.
fine, and then yeah, they're like if they want to block, they're gonna have to give you armor and a card or 2 cards, and if you're racing of sorts, drawing a card is exactly where you want to be.
Yeah.
This
Well,
is
and,
really
like,
good.
if you think about it as like 1 for a snatch with go again that you could potentially play for multiple turns, you're like, oh my gosh, the value. I'll
Yeah,
happily play.
take snatch. It's 0 for 4. Add the text "go again" and stay on the board until killed for 1 resource is pretty nuts.
That also you get rewarded for pitching.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah.
and the
It's a
scenario
10.
where
I changed it. It's a 10.
if the opponent has already been like blocking that turn and they only got like 1 or no cards left in hand, and then you drop that Caloria at the end of your turn and you
They're like,
swing in with it.
no, I should have
Yeah.
saved the fate for scene.
You're gonna get 2 draws off of it. Pretty good.
Yeah, card's very good. I give it an 8 or a 9. 1 point below Dromai, so I don't remember what I put at Dromai at.
Putting it
it's
just
either 8 or
above
9.
Dromai.
I have
don't remember what I gave
Caloria at
Dromai
a
as
10.
well.
Yeah, it's hard to
Probably
say. It's got to be a 9 or a 10. It's like the value's insane. The health could turn out to be a problem, and like just maybe competition with other dragons. But I gotta imagine this is just an insane card to put in any deck. Invoke Mirage.
This one is Mirage.
Mirage?
This one is the best art in my opinion.
I really like
it's
this
beautiful.
1
Stupid
cost.
little boats getting wrecked.
I had actually have not seen those till just now.
On the jumbo card in Las Vegas, it looked so good.
Yep, 1 cost, 3 block. Mirage. 2/4. Your first dragon attack each turn loses and can't gain Phantasm. This
Let me
one
set the
I'm
scene for you
yeah, go for it.
real quick.
Uh-huh.
I have Tomeltai down. I drop Mirage.
10. It's 10.
I swing Tomeltai. Opponent scoops. It's over.
I am less excited about this one, even though Phantasm's a problem. And this just gets rid of that problem for your first dragon. It's like a slot in your deck. I don't know. Like, it's obviously very good, but like the stat line kind of sucks, and you have to have 2 dragon. You have to have this out and a dragon you really want to not pop.
You think
Maybe I'm underestimating how easy it is to summon multiple of these good dragons all at once, but I'm just not excited about this effect in this stat line.
You think Passing Mirage would be a better replacement?
I don't know if it's a better replacement because Passing Mirage takes an action
Passing Mirage
point.
is not better. Mirage
I guess
is
it
absolutely
does.
better than
I
Passing
guess
Mirage.
it
But
does take an
actually,
action point.
with Dromai, though, you can play Passing Mirage and not end your turn. Which is
True. But I don't. Yeah, I was just thinking Passing Mirage, a resource card, and it turns off all Phantasm.
I think this is definitely coming in matchups where you're expected to see a lot of poppers.
Yeah, I think you got to run it against the Guardians and the Brutes. I don't know. The stat line just bums me out a lot, and it's fair for the effect for sure. Because like, yeah, you get a
This
big
one's
beefy.
I think you're playing this one as an aura.
Right. You probably don't even attack.
Sometimes swinging for twice as much as Passing Mirage could for Prism. Like
Yeah.
that's reality, and it only costs 1.
You may not attack with this, and just in case they try to be cheeky and wait for it so they can pop it. But like, you make them attack it and that kind of thing.
You attack with the 4-cost dragon first. You see their hand. You put the popper on bottom, and then
Oh my
vanish.
gosh!
And then you're like, oh, okay. You don't have any more poppers in hand. I can swing with Mirage, Miragai, whatever you want to call him.
No way, dude. We're running Potion of Seeing.
Oh,
Yo,
Actually, we
Potion of
stole
Seeing.
Potion of Seeing.
yeah,
the
there you
opponent.
go.
I think it's very good. I don't know. Yes, I see that you need this. You need this to push damage and pressure on like Guardians and stuff. I hate running it because it's 2/4. But you need this. It's got to be in your.
Where do you
deck.
put Passing Mirage?
In like on 1 to 10 scale?
Yeah.
I mean, in the context of Prism, it's kind of the one I care the least about these days.
Yeah, because you've been playing such an aura heavy.
Yeah, I mean, I put Passing Mirage in my initial Dromai list, and I get you can. It's easy to slap down at the end of a chain.
It's 0 and blue.
But it's a
and
blue. But like blues are also less. It's hard. It's really hard. This is it can attack. Your opponent has to hit it for 4, but it doesn't have Spectra. There's so many ups and downs. But I gotta say, it's probably like an 8. Like you just have to run it in those matchups where they have infinite poppers.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's an 8 because you just have to run it.
Yeah, 7-8.
I'm with Bill.
This
Ooh,
art.
God,
This
art is
God. This art, man.
busted.
It's no kidding.
Seeing it in the big card form made me like it more.
Were those metal?
No, they were just like the big hero cards we've seen before.
It's like
Oh, you haven't been
They
to one
look
of the events.
regular
look
card.
so good.
I don't know how I feel about it, but the big card, I really like it.
Bro, turn
It's-
it around for us, Justin.
Okay,
Let's see
okay.
the.
Three costs. You get the picture.
Oh my goodness.
Necria, 4/7, fucking 6 stat line. Whenever Necria deals or is dealt damage, put a -1 life counter on her and create an Ash token. This thing's awesome.
Oh, so it kills itself slowly. Okay.
Yeah, because allies heal at the end of every turn, but this one, the more it deals damage or gets pinged, it will get a -1 life counter on it.
Card is
It-
sweet.
It's a crazy ass haze bending.
I hate to say it though, I don't think this card's gonna see much play. I think in limited, it's great, it's crazy, but like,
Oh yeah.
you have no problem in CC making a pile of Ash. Like you could
Yeah.
even on one turn pitch 3 reds, and you're never gonna hit the bottom of that pile of Ash.
I think you just prioritize the other dragons more. It's really cool.
I love it. It's so cool. I want to play it. I want to slam this art down on the board. But honestly, its effect is like what your hero power is already doing. I just don't see you making room for this over the dragons that gain action points and lose Phantasm and melt your opponent's armor. Like, it's just a very underwhelming effect. Very cool, very synergistic, very good stat line. I just don't think it's powerful enough to take slots in your deck.
Bro, I don't know why I just thought of this, but it was like, imagine if this thing was real and you saw that thing flying in the sky. Like, how terrifying would that thing be?
Shit myself.
Just
Just no questions on the spot. Just stop. I'd hold on to a wall back 1 second, guys.
It does almost
100%.
just seem like it's there to be an annoyance to the opponent. Like that's kind of where my thought line is with it is, it's like it's for attack, it's annoying. Like that it doesn't have much of an effect other than that. It's like, do they block it?
Yeah, it's like it's gonna keep hitting them for 4 a few times before it knocks itself down to a reasonable health and they one shot it or something.
Yeah.
But
I think its effect of creating Ash isn't really what
Maybe
you're wanting out of it. It's just whether or not the opponent wants to block that, or if you have other dragons out and they're going to plan on blocking the other dragons.
maybe in a fatigue matchup, I don't know. Maybe it comes in handy.
maybe I don't know. I kind of just think it's just too low power level. Yeah, good body, bad effect. It's like a 6.
I think it's a. I don't know. I could see with its use in limited. I think it's a 7, but in CC it's a 6.
Limited is great, yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
give
limited
it a
for
6.
sure. Yeah.
Constructed, I'm gonna put it right in the middle at a 5.
Yeah, somewhere around there, reasonable. This
Oh,
one,
that's
this art is beautiful. And
Well, yeah.
Goddamn.
look at the little baby dragons.
Orange
Uvia,
in the back.
2 cost. At the start, a 1/6, not very threatening, but at the start of your turn or when Uvia enters the arena, transform up to 1 Ash you control into an Aether Ashwing.
Bro, it's just a
Um,
machine.
Yeah, it's a baby making machine. This thing, someone played this against me in sealed at the world premiere. I managed to beat them. I was playing Icelander of all things, But this thing definitely, like, almost single-handedly beat me. I had to kind of race them down, and luckily I had the cards for it, and Waning Moon puts a lot of work in. But this thing, I literally couldn't kill it. I think I mentioned that earlier. Like, they played this, and I had no cards in my deck that could kill it. No six attacks, no 6 damage spells, nothing that I could kill this with. No go again, really. And it just
your
sat
weapon
there.
Can't target it.
Yeah, your weapon can't target it. So in limited, this thing fucks and makes babies. It's the guy had, by the end of the game, the guy had 6 baby dragons, and they were all pretty much all just made by this. Like, he would pitch reds for Arcane Barrier, and then just let this thing turn them into baby dragons. It was amazing. It was very cool. And I think in CC, this is a super important thing too. You throw this down alongside another dragon that really needs to be targeted, and then, like, you start zerging your opponent. Basically, your board state gets out of control with all your little 1/1s and your Arcane Barrier, and they're chopping down big dragons, and then suddenly there's like 10 baby dragons, and then maybe you throw in a Rake the Embers, and you throw 3 more in there.
I just love the thought of like playing against something with Arcane Barrier, and you're just pitching, and it's it's like going against, they're trying to deal damage, you're like, nah, I'm just gonna keep creating more damage and shields.
Yeah, you just stay the course, you pitch the reds, you make the dragons, and then eventually your opponent dies because 50 dragons attack them.
My playmat's not big enough for the amount of dragons I want to create.
Yeah, and you can have 3 of these on the board, by the way. So, good luck keeping up the Ash Factory with that many dragon effects.
You run 3 of these, and then just run AB3 because you just want to pitch into it.
No, the dragons have AB. The baby dragons have AB.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is this is busted.
It's pretty busted. I don't think it's a 10 because it doesn't end you need a lot of you got to have the right game plan and the right matchup for this to get its full value. But like, this can definitely just be the way you beat certain classes. It just sits there and it makes you a million dragons, and then you kill your opponent with them. So this is like an 8 or 9. It's very strong.
I have it at a 9. The 6 health total is really annoying. Like, you can't, like, a controlly old him can't just like swing a whale at it. Like, they have to dedicate.
Yeah, he's got to hold like 2 to 3 cards and throw like spinal at it or whatever.
Yeah, they have to dedicate an attack to it.
And like, yeah, you're never gonna just never swing with this unless they have no cards in hand. Like, you just let it sit on the board and make baby dragons.
It does what the art is, makes babies.
I'll give it a 7.
7.
Invoke Time.
This one.
2 cost.
This is a fantastic art.
I think this is one of my favorite arts for the dragon.
This is almost like one of the newer like Pokemon alt arts, right? You got like Pokemon just sitting over a city or something. It really does look like that. 3 attack, 4 health.
It is Carlos. So
this is opponents can't play cards or activate abilities during your turn. The most interesting part about this is defense reactions.
Oh,
you can't play defense reactions
now, boys. We stacks them now.
What stacks is that? Like, your opponent doesn't get to play cards, or
yeah?
Okay.
Lock
Dude,
out.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she has
good.
So many tools. How much does this one cost?
2.
Ooh, 2.
That's fine.
Create 2 Ash.
3/4 is pretty susceptible. That 4 health threshold, like whale territory, stuff like that. But yeah, you put this down, and then you attack with some other stuff, and you lock your opponent out of defense reactions. And wizards can't play cards on your turn and stuff like that.
That's what I thought. Like, this is, even if it's, I mean, it seems main board worthy, but we're already at a lot of dragons that we think are main board worthy.
It's definitely sideboard.
Yeah, all of them.
Jam all the dragons in the deck. I like it. No, but wizard, or even like if you know old him is running like a bunch of 0 for 4 D reacts,
This could
It's
catch
too
them in a
hard.
bad spot. Yep.
Yeah.
Obviously they can crown in response, but like you have a board state where you have like the no phantasm thing, and you just got a big boy you're gonna swing with, and then like you throw this in the mix, and they have to just have regular cards to block with, or they're gonna take a ton of damage. It's kind of the exude confidence setup, right?
Yeah.
You just I mean it's almost the same effect in this scenario.
I
It's
think
so good.
I think it's a base 8, and in certain matchups it's a 10 out of 10.
I think it's lower in a lot of matchups.
Other match.
There
yeah.
are some matchups where this does nothing. This is a 3 attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be like a 6.
Two. You're paying 2 for this, so you really need this to be really good in the matchups you're bringing it in for 2 cost 3 dragon.
6 is where I'm at with it.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
a 6 baseline. And then, the matchups where it's really good, it is a 10. Like, you throw this down against Wizard, like, against Kano no longer can kill you. Like, just straight up. Okay.
By Aether Wildfire.
Yeah, it's not totally true because there's new wizard spells that can target anything, like Aether Dart, I
Yeah.
think. So, like, but, like, even that is only, I mean, you could buff it. So, you could Crucible, Aether Dart this, and kill it. And you're going to have to do that if you ever want to Aether Wildfire, you're the guy. It just kind of seems like this is a nail in the coffin for Kano, and like potentially Icelander as well. And then obviously you can stuff defense reactions when you're expecting it. So cool
Yeah,
card,
and-
definitely sideboard.
You can of course respond to it as soon as it comes in, but you can't target it until it resolves.
Right. Yep.
So
Yep.
I mean, this is
Unfortunately,
really good against Oldhim, right? Like,
yeah, that's what
I think.
with the right setup. You have to have it in combination with like no phantasm or something. But yeah, you slam this down with the right other dragons on the board, and you swing away at him, and he's like, I got fates and sinks up my ass. I can't do anything about it.
well, no Oldhim D-React, no Crown.
Yeah, they definitely crown in response, but if this is on the
No
board when
shield?
it
No,
goes,
that's trigger.
they can do that. Yeah, they can do the shield.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. This one I'm super not sure about. Invoke
Look at that art.
Vincerakai, 3 cost dragon. This is a 6/1, and when it hits a hero, he deals 3 arcane damage to them.
Unsure about 3 for 9.
The problem, so I like 3 for 9. I don't like 3 for 9 that has 1 health. And the fact that it's just raw damage is good, but it's just kind of not what Dromai's game plan is. I mean, maybe there's like a really aggressive build, right? And you're just like pumping out combat chains and damage, and then this comes in and it threatens to do 9 damage. I don't see it in your typical Dromai build though, where you're playing like the setup and the combos, and you're making baby dragons, and you're getting around phantasm and stuff. This just kind of seems like it's just damage, and I don't really see it fitting into that game plan. 9 is a lot, but it's
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. It could be a good finisher though.
Closing out the
Um,
game with this and Optimize seems really easy.
It's true. Maybe you include like 1, even though you can have 3. Maybe it's like a 1 of
Yeah, could be a 1 of.
How much did it cost again?
3.
3.
3.
And then your opponent
for
has to
9.
block with 2 cards, or they're gonna take 9 damage total. Or they
Yeah.
have to phantasm it.
what would be a minimum of 4 damage this thing would be dealing if it hits.
Yeah, 4. If they block 5, it's.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Assuming they
them
can't pitch for
having
the
to
AV.
commit 3. The weird split damage gives it a lot more value.
Yeah, but like typically they'll give you 2 cards and then this deals 0. Unless they're a really, like a ninja and they're in a desperate scenario, they block with like 2 blocks, and then you just blast them anyway, and they're just kind of
Yeah, that's the thing. 2 block classes hate to see this.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a 1 of, like a 2 of max. I don't think you dump 3 in. 3 is kind of expensive for a 1 cost or a 1 health, guy. I do think this could fit into that another like finisher package.
I think
Where
it's a one
late game you just have these bombs swinging for so much your opponent's like, I gotta block or I'm gonna fucking die instantly.
I think it's too situational to not be to be higher than a 7, but I think it has some good implications, especially against the not classes that don't block very well.
Yeah, I'd say
I'm skeptical as to whether or
7.
not you would want to bring this into an aggro matchup because it does have 1 health, but you're likely going to be stripping cards from their hand if you are swinging with it.
I
Yeah,
mean, if you're in the aggro matchup, this is at the worst a spectral shield with upside. Right?
A spectral shield that deals 9 damage.
Because they're gonna kill it. It's gonna take 1 life at least for you. Like, save you at least 1 life.
It's just a lot of tempo to give up. Like, you get the damage, but you paid 3, which you probably pitched reds for, so you didn't probably do very much that turn. And
turn
then
or turn 0.
Well, they just block with 2 cards, right? And then they kill it next turn.
Yeah, and then you have the tempo because you don't have to spend the cards on blocking on the turn where you won't drop after.
I mean, if they Kodachi it, or some classes are just gonna blow this off the board and not even think blink. But
seems very situational.
Yeah, this is a hard card to evaluate. Its ceiling is very high, but it is just raw damage, and its floor is kind of low. Like, you could get pinged as soon as you summon it, depending on who you're against, and then it's just like. But I don't know. It's like a 6 or a 7. It's pretty strong.
Give it a 6.
I'll give it a 5.
I'm gonna give it a 6.
Yeah, I'll settle on a 6. Invoke Yenderai.
Bro, there's so many dragons.
I know, it's kind of insane. 1 cost, 3 block, red. 3/3. Yenderai enters the arena with an endurance counter on him. If Yenderai would be dealt damage, remove an endurance counter from him to prevent 3 of that damage. So it will heal up at the end of every turn, but it has a one-time use 3 damage shield. If you deal 1 instance of 6, it just dies. If you deal an instance of 1 and then 3, it dies. I think this is kind of by far the worst dragon.
Yeah. How much does it cost? I forgot already.
1.
Oh, okay. Still wouldn't play it.
Yeah.
I love the art though.
The art's sick, but I think this is like limited fodder. I think it's like
we're jamming it because it's a dragon, but yeah, it's the worst dragon probably.
Yeah, honestly, this dragon's kind of just like a 4 or a 3 to me. I don't see any reason you'd put this in your deck over just an attack action. Besides, okay, there's always merit to leaving a permanent on the board, especially in Flesh and Blood in its current state. So it's like minimum 4, but you're not really gonna make like if it's this or any other dragon, it's that any other dragon. Like, you're just not playing this.
Yeah. If there was a way to be able to put another endurance counter onto him, then maybe. And it would have to be not easy to put an endurance counter on him. Otherwise, like, I feel like this would just be broken.
If you could use his endurance counter to protect another dragon, that'd be sick.
Oh, when it enters the arena, put an endurance counter on another dragon.
Yeah.
Then we'd be talking. But yeah, this being just a 3 that has a little shield is kind of weird, kind of useless.
3.
4.
I'm gonna say 3.
Oh, fine. Since it's a 3/3, I'll say 3 as well. All right, we made it through the dragons. Thank God. We can
move on. Not a dragon.
We can blast through the rest of this. There's a dragon in the picture.
There's a dragon on this.
Look at that right there. Billowing Mirage.
Like sand.
1 cost, 3 go again. Blue is 1 go again. When you attack with Billowing Mirage, transform up to 1 Ash you control into an Aether Ashwing. I have this in my initial list because it makes an Aether Ashwing, and I think that's important. It's a red cost 1, which I really like. I like pitching a red to play a red. That turns everything you want on for the turn. It doesn't have Phantasm. 3 damage isn't a lot, but it enabled everything else that you want to do with your game plan. So I really like this card.
I think this card is gas.
Synergy.
I think it's a 3 of. So a 3 of. I think it's a 10. I think it's everything she wants.
You
Wow.
putting the yellows in too? You putting the blues in?
No, just the
Wha-
reds.
You just putting the reds in?
Just the reds.
I don't know. What do you think about the blues, Justin?
I put the blues in just because if I'm doing resource cards, it's a 3-block blue, which is like primo, and then if you play the blue, you can. You're not playing a red, so your dragons don't have go again yet, but you do make an Ashwing, and you can pitch a red to make Ash. So like
You could also
the blue at worst is still pretty good.
yeah, blue 3-block. That's a lot more than some classes get.
Put this at a 9.
Yeah, it's like not super powerful, right? Like what is a 10 really? But I like we're saying this does everything that prison or that Dromai wants to do to enable all of her synergies. So I kind of think it does belong in that kind of 9-10 category. It's like the quintessential Draconic Illusionist card right now.
I'm gonna give it a 7.
Whoa.
Controversial.
Yeah, I was gonna say controversial.
7 is what I think goes into the deck for sure, and might be enabling. But this card isn't doing busted things. By
Not
no
yet.
means is it doing busted things.
No,
I
I think just the sheer amount of synergy it has is why I'm
Card is
giving it such
good.
a high rating.
Yeah,
If
but that's
10
rating it based on how it works with other cards.
If 10 is busted, then it's an 8.
Sure, I get adhere to that scale. Yeah, it's like a set.
Yeah.
Like 7 is like baseline goes into your deck,
In the deck,
right? It's
yeah.
like it's in the deck. It makes the
Alright,
deck function.
If 10 is busting, then it's an 8.
Yeah, I can go with that too.
The fuck was that?
They made mini cards.
Yes.
Yo, mini cards.
It doesn't really. Where's my?
I love the art though.
Yep. Taylor, read us this name, please.
Oh, don't make me do it.
Do it.
Don't
Do
make
it.
me
Do
do
it.
it.
What is this? What is this?
What's this?
Dude Breaker Senpai.
Dunebreaker Senpai.
What's
I
a
can't remember what
Senpai,
you
man?
called it
I
in
forget what.
Vegas.
I don't know what a Senpai is, but these cards, there's a couple of these Senpai cards, and they are definitely just Senpai.
Senpai.
Yeah.
So we got a red 1 cost like that, 5 go again like that. Phantasm, don't like that. But when Dunebreaker Senpai is destroyed, create an Ash token. So this is Billowing Mirage, but it doesn't make the Ash token just by playing it. But you get more damage out of it, and if they want to pop it, you get an Ash. So it's like it's a nice little like a medium pressure card, and with a potential upside of getting an Ash. And if you're pitching a red for it, you're already getting an Ash. It doesn't make a Dragonling. I think it's less powerful than Billowing Mirage, honestly, because it doesn't make that Ashwing. So for me, this is like a 6. It's on the cusp. You might auto include this in your deck because it checks a lot of boxes, but you might just have better options.
Yeah, I'm a 6 because it's getting set in a pile that I'm gonna get my core and then I'm gonna think about this card.
Yep.
I think the fact that it has go again, 1 for 5 go again, puts it at a 7, but then Phantasm brings it to a 6. So I think it's a 6 as well.
I'm gonna put it what it is. Its attack is. It's a 5.
Whoa. Not
It's
playable.
It's just not that it's not playable. It's just I'm not sure where it fits yet. And also, I googled to see what a Senpai was. It asked me if I was searching for Senpai, so it is Senpai.
Hey, let's go.
They
It's
just messed up and
Senpai.
went with it.
Oh man. Yeah, it's like better Spears of Surreality and like potential dragon synergy. Dust Up. 0 cost, 4 damage on the red. Blocks for 3, that's good. When Dust Up hits, create an Ash token. Then transform up to 1 Ash you control into an Aether Ashwing. Thoughts?
0 for 4? No go again though.
No go again.
So this is one where you you are able to create the ash token and then take that
Yes.
ash token and create.
But you have to hit.
Yeah.
This kind of needs to get blocked. Which means in
Yeah.
the aggro matchup, it's really strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see
Sideboard
this.
card.
If you go and they've committed to not blocking, and then you cap your turn with this,
Hmm.
they don't feel good about that. I
This
don't think
card
it makes it super amazing, but I think the card's got its merit for sure.
Yeah, if you end your turn with this card, I think it's pretty good. But it can be kind of clunky with no go again.
And again, to not
Maybe
increase
she
its
runs
thoughtful power
Snapdragons.
level. Yeah, but with Dromai, this card's even better.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
but
yeah.
on
Think
its
about that.
own, it's just situationally good.
4 is kind of an awkward number with the on hit.
I
think-
am at like a 5 on this.
I'm at a 5 as well.
I think it's a 5.
Same.
I think it functions well. I think it'll make the cut in a lot of decks, but it's not. It's not anything that you need in the deck.
So it's a red, right? Which you're like, good, but you need to play a red to give your dragons go again. This does not have go again. You can't lead your turn with it. The effect is very good. If it hits, it's a break point. If it hits, you get a dragon, all that good stuff. But yeah, the fact that it doesn't have go again is like you need Dromai in play, or you need to play red lead the charge. And I just think you're gonna put cards that just already work. And like I kind of like pitching for 1 costs more than I like playing 0 costs. You definitely need some 0 costs for like turns where you block out and then you just play a red card and then your dragons have go again. Like the classic Prism block out, pitch for Spectral Shield, swing with all the auras. But I really don't like this card. It's good and limited. Cap your turn on it. You could cap your turn on in constructed, but I think you just put better cards in your deck.
Yeah, it not having go again or the ability to get it without another action point really puts it at a 5.
Yeah.
The next Senpai.
Timberma Senpai.
2
This card
cost.
is disgusting and limited.
Can we
It
insert
is.
a picture right here that has swing big and says, "Am I a joke to you?"
Yeah.
At red, this is a 2 cost for 8 damage. That is a classic illusionist card if I've ever seen one. Has Phantasm, obviously, and when it is destroyed, create an ash token. So you've got a 2 for 8, where at the worst, you get a card from your opponent and you get an ash in exchange.
You potentially, worst case scenario, if you use reds, you're creating 3 ash.
Woo!
And pulling a card.
Busting.
Bro, I felt the power. This is the first Dromai I lost to in sealed. He did a bunch of things, attacked me with some dragons, and then slapped that down, and I was like, all right, well, good game.
Yeah, in limited especially, this thing's beyond busted. Yeah, a 2 for 8? What the fuck?
I almost hate drafted this card in my draft because I was like, I don't want to see this come up.
You might just do that in drafts in general, honestly. If you're not drafting Dromai, you don't want to see this against you. Constructed level, not sure. I'm not sure how much space they're going to have for capping their turns with a big attack. Maybe that's the attack pattern. Dragon, big illusionist attack. Because you don't have go again, so you can't really work like
game plan.
Yeah, you can't do it like Prism where you just get to do a bunch of these. You kind of have to have a smaller concentration of big chonky illusionist attacks and then swing the dragons, throw out big attack. So you're like 1, 8.
I feel like this is the card that you want to run as a blue. Like this is your resource. One of your resource cards.
That was on my resource list. A 2 for 6 that's a blue. It's
brute players, they love those.
They don't get them though.
Yeah.
Everyone else gets them. I think this even the red. I think in the aggro, like they don't want to block. They don't have not a lot of classes have a ton of poppers. So like the odds of them having one are lower. So you ping a bunch of dragons and then you end your turn with this, like that damage output is gross.
I think the real question though is, do I want to pay one more for one more damage and an ash token than if I instead just ran Miraging Metamorph?
Yeah.
Metamorph doesn't have any aura synergy in this deck, for the most part. But
Metamorph
it's a red 1 for 7 though.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And the more I think about this, I like this card, and I think it's busted and limited. But honestly, in CC, 2 for 8 is good, and the Ash is good. But I don't think that's worth the cost of, because like you think about Metamorph, all you need is that one, just pitch one red, or like activate your Furnace after you've played some other cards, and then you get the resource for it. I don't know if this will make the cut when there's just more efficient cost to damage cards.
Yeah, and you're not really worried about if it's Draconic or if it's Illusionist or Draconic Illusionist. Metamorph does just fit the. You can pitch one, guarantee the Ash creating. You don't care if it gets popped.
I think this is just shy in CC. I think it's like a 6.
But damn, is it busted and limited?
If it like made an Ash or a Dragonling when you played it, it might be a different story.
It's a 5.
I think it's a 6. I think it's fringe.
I can put it a high 6, just because I mean we haven't seen the rest of the cards yet, and I don't remember what they are, but I just think for resource purposes, a blue 1, I just think it's good.
I think it's reasonable. Blue 6s are all 10s in my book.
Well, then you're gonna love Enigma Chimera.
Is that a new card?
I actually can't remember if that blocks for 2 or 3. I think it might block for 2. I'm not sure. Sweeping Blow.
I'm feeling broody now.
Sweeping Blow.
Yo, this card hits some.
Yeah, red 1 for 3. When you attack with it, create an Ash token. So you pitch a red, you play this, you've made 2 Ash, and you played a 3 attack go again. I like it, but I like it less than that Billowing Mirage.
I think
because
Mirage is better.
I think Billowing Mirage is better. Creating extra Ash is good, but I think mostly you're just pitching to make Ash. I think a couple cards that generate extra Ash for you is probably good, because like it could probably be tough to stay on top of making dragons if you're trying to pitch like 2 to 3 reds every turn. It's like you're not really playing many of your cards at that point. So like maybe this makes the cut because you just need extra Ash, but it's a lot less exciting than making a permanent ally on the board like Billowing Mirage does.
I mean, this is creating 2 essentially,
Mm-hmm.
and it can't be popped, and it starts off the turn with playing a red card, so it does have all that synergy with it. I think, I have yet to play any Dromai, but I feel like this is something that would be good to play around with.
I think it's a 6. I think it could have merit in a deck,
Yeah,
but
it blocks for
I think
3.
I think there's potentially just better cards that take its place.
6.
It could be part of your bread and butter package where you have Sweeping Blow and Billowing, where they are your baseline generators for Ash and little Dragonlings, and then like you have your better cards on top of them. But it's possible this gets edged out in place of just strictly more powerful cards. So I think it's like a high 6. It's almost as playable as Billowing Mirage, but not quite on that level. Making Ash doesn't do anything immediately. Making a Dragonling does.
Yeah.
I put this at a 6.
This is your bread and butter card. This card
is busted.
This card is the epitome of busted. Like, this is the definition of busted. This is
it's an easy 10.
This card's a 10. This card,
10,
you need 3 of red. You need 3 of red
10.
and possibly more of the other colors. Like, you pitch one, you make an Ash, it makes an Ash, it makes 3 Aether Ash Wings. You zerg the board down with this. If you draw this mid game and you're sitting on a pile of Ash, you suddenly just have a board full of dragons.
It's a machine.
Easy.
It's a 10.
Skittering Sands. I think this is another auto include in your decks. Red, transform target ash you control into an Aether Ashwing. It gains +3 until end of turn. The yellow is +2 and the blue gives +1. They all make one Ashwing. I think the red, though, is the only one you probably run. It's a 2 block. You don't want too many of these in your deck, but it is a red 0 cost that you can lead the turn. Like, if you block with 3 cards and you just have this card, that's a great turn, assuming you have some amount of dragons. Because you play this, you make a new dragon, you buff that dragon, and all your other dragons have go again.
It's funny you say that. These last 2 cards are what lost me my last sealed game or draft game. He played Rake the Embers the turn before. I made him block. He kept one singular card. You guessed it. It was Skittering Sands, and I lost. I lost tempo, and I never got it back.
Busted card. This card's a one. If you already have a board state, this card is a 1-man army. It is just, it's a buff. It's a go again giver. It's a red card. It's great.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I don't think it's a 10.
7.
It's a 2 block. I think 7 is fair.
I don't think if you gave this a card, blocking 3, like this, it'd just be too good. Like I think this is card's an 8 or a 9. You're insane if you think this card needs to block for 3.
Oh, did I get Skittering Sands twice? Oh, there's the yellow one, in case you want to see it.
Yellow.
Sand cover. 0 cost. Dragon Illusionist instant. Target ash you control gains ward 4 until the end of turn. Ward is a new keyword. We may have gone over it. No, that was Quell. If your hero would be dealt damage, prevent 4 of that damage and destroy this. So obviously the number of damage it prevents changes with the number of ward.
Before we get into this one, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Because I haven't gotten to really play.
It's 1 instance. If you hit it with a 1, it breaks.
No. Do we think we're gonna have overflowing ash?
Like too much ash to work with?
In CC,
or
yes.
or excess by at least a little bit most of the time.
That's a great question.
This card's power level hard to determine without knowing that.
Yeah, my initial goldfishing, I did end up with a lot, but then as soon as you hit a Rake the Embers, you no longer have a lot. And that was obviously without an opponent attacking me. So I don't really know how much you can afford to pitch reds every turn. And there's no cards that strictly say like make 5 ash. Like you have to constantly keep that up. You have to keep making that ash. Dat ash.
I think if Dromai is consistently having excess ash and able to do this card's an 8. If Dromai is not, it's more like a 3 or a 4. I think we're really dependent on that.
Say Icelander's coming at you with a 5 attack, and you pitch for 1 AB. You create an ash, and then you instant this in.
I think it's the same.
5 damage.
No, I think it's the same scenario. Okay. You're stopping damage midway through the resolution. I think if you're pitching, I think you're doing it all at once. You would have to have this already on the board, or respond to it at instant speed and pay 1 for AB, and then you'd block all 5.
Yeah, because I mean her hero power is just whenever you pitch a red card.
Yeah, but that's like you can't generate it in the middle of covering up arcane damage because you have to resolve. That would be partial resolution.
The judge that I asked said if it doesn't say target ash, then it works. But when it says target ash, it has to be one you already have.
Yeah.
I think it's reasonable to give up 1 ash for
4 health.
For like a Fate Foreseen type damage cover. Red 0 for 4. It doesn't have any additional effects though, but it's at instant speed, which could, and it's all damage, so it's different. It's
I
similar but different.
I think it's better than a 0 for 4 D-react because of the fact that it's ward, which means it blocks all. So you don't get clogged up with just, these D-reacts that might not work in,
Right, you can keep it between your arcane and your physical matchups. It doesn't eat into your sideboard. Nice. Yeah, it's versatile. It's good. I think it's at least a 7. and then it kind of remains to be seen how much extra ash you have. I think you will have. I think you're going to pitch about 2 red cards per turn.
I think it's an 8. It's an instant. It blocks all damage. It's cost 0.
Yeah. It's pretty good against Dominate.
It's it also it's very versatile. It's yep. And it's super annoying when you're a wizard and you think you're gonna get them with something, and then they fucking drop this, and you're like, God damn it!
Yeah.
It's not...
Bro, they already have a shit ton of AB, and then you're like, sand cover.
What if I paid 0 to cover 4 of that damage? Yep.
Yeah, I don't think wizard wants to see Dromai.
It's kind of rough. Oh, there it is again.
Oh,
There's
wait a
the
minute. Wait a minute. Aetherize. You can Aetherize that.
Oh shit! We finally get to play
Yes.
Aetherize.
There we go.
They're like, I will not take that damage, and you'll go, actually, you will. And then they somehow play reverse or rewind or whatever.
Rewind.
Yeah.
Even though that's
It's
not a
mutant
card
draft.
they can play.
All right.
Yeah, in Mutant Trap. There's our Aether Ashwing. Little 1/1s with Arcane Barrier, little guys.
Pretty good. I say
That's good.
10 out of 10. You put that in your deck every time.
Yep.
I agree.
Draw 3 of those.
Every time.
You're
I
happy.
think you're probably getting DQ'd if you put that in your deck.
What about this? What if I load my deck up with Ash?
Same.
Oh.
You sure about that?
No, I'm not.
Legendary. This is one of the coolest and also lamest legendaries I think we've ever gotten. Ghostly Touch, Illusionist Equipment Arms. Prism can use this too, and honestly, she's more likely to use it than Dromai is. Whenever an illusionist attack you control. Okay, well, actually, I actually thought it was attack action. It's a little more Dromai now. Whenever an illusionist attack you control is destroyed by Phantasm, put a haunt counter on Ghostly Touch. Once per turn action, remove a haunt counter from Ghostly Touch until the end of turn. This becomes an illusionist ally with Phantasm, base attack and health equal to the number of haunt counters on it, and once per turn action, 3 cost, attack, go again. Oh no, it does not have go again. That's right. It's outside of the quotation marks.
Yeah.
Turning it into an ally has go again. It does not have go again. Okay.
I love
think-
the art.
I think you just have to see it played. It seems
Yeah.
really bad with
Okay, let me paint the scenario I'm thinking for its like primary use. So you're playing against a Guardian, and they are just popping everything you have. You attack with a 1/1 dragon, and they go block with my 8 attack. Pop your Phantasm, end your turn. You kind of try to block them out. You do your combat tricks where you lose Phantasm and gain action points, and you strip cards from them, and you kind of go back and forth. It's a super grindy matchup. And then you get to late in the game, and you're actually you're kind of like decking them out or running them out of 8 attack cards or whatever Oldhim's got in his deck. He's starting to get down to, he's just got Defense Reacts and Autumn's Touch and stuff like that. Your Ghostly Touch can now be turned into like a 1919 ally. And
Then
You-
it gets popped.
that gets popped unless they don't have any pops left because you've ran them out using your dragons.
It is definitely the end game. against
Also,
Guardians, I feel like.
throw down that dragon. Your first illusionist attack
Oh.
does not have Phantasm.
It's dragon.
Passing Mirage. You attack with Chromai with no Phantasm, and then you play Passing Mirage because you have an extra action point. No, you go Red Lead the charge, Passing Mirage, attack with Ghostly Touch for 19.
Bro, anything that says attack for 19, I'm in.
We found the line. That's the combo. This is the combo they were talking about. This is why she's a combo deck. You're like, Oldham's like, I'll pop your dragons all fucking day, and you're like, I know you will. And you're just
like-
you're feeding him dragons. You're like, eat them.
This-
Come on, take them.
This card is released for all the chains that want to keep using their D20s.
Yes.
That's why I like this card.
I mean,
I
like, you could easily get this above 20 attack against Guardian or Brute.
Likely.
That'd be so cool.
Let's do it.
I'm in.
You just make sure to pitch at least, like, you just try to get lead the charge and Passing Mirage next to each other, and then you just fucking They're looking at you. They're like, "You got anything left?" You're like, "I got my gloves, bitch. I'm gonna slap you in the face with them." You fucking lead the charge, passing barrage 25 coming at you. Dude, that's sick. Thinking it through, I like these a lot more. They're obviously pretty niche,
Very
because
combo-y.
they're only good in a matchup where they have poppers. So you have to combo around that. You have to set that up to be able to actually attack with these. But these could be a game ender. These are just an inevitability if you keep your combo pieces in your deck.
You think remembering your tunic counter was difficult?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
No,
I've missed like shit. I missed like 6 ghostly touches. That's bad. That's a lot.
You're
you definitely have to remember in the Oldhim matchup though, expose the elements. You gotta
Oh
ensure
no.
all the resources.
Oh shit. You know what's cool though in that scenario? You don't have to hold 2, you just have to hold 1 and then furnace at instant speed to get the resources.
Furnace is so cool.
But I like this card a lot.
I think it's a 6 with a 10 potential.
Damn, dude. Imagine you get this above like 20, or it's like closing in on 30, and they fucking expose ice react to you and they destroy them, and you're just like,
You're like, all that work.
All right, man. I don't know how to evaluate these.
I have it
as
as
6 or 5.
5, yeah.
6.
I really want this card. I think really want to see it in cold foil.
I just don't understand why she's wearing ghost hands as gloves. Why?
Don't worry about it.
Okay. Yeah, it's like 5. It's like
there too.
I think 6 for me. Seeing the setup you can do, but it's like so difficult that these are there, but you're like, it's gonna be so hard to pull anything off. They're not like blatantly powerful. Whoops. Oh, nope. Don't look at that. These are sick. The art is sick. Like, talk about cool common arts. Like these things are fucking sick. Silent Stilettos, Illusionist Legs. Whenever an attacking ally you control dies, or an attack action card you control is destroyed by Phantasm, you may pay 3. If you do, destroy Silent Stilettos and gain 1 action point. Arcane Barrier 1.
The most expensive footsteps you've ever seen.
Yeah, we got footsteps at home here, but you can target allies.
Time Sweepers at home.
Yeah.
Footsteps with approximately 0.01% of the cost. Woo! Monetary value.
That's true.
Yeah, these are. I mean, you got to run them in Dromai. You don't have any other. I mean, you have footsteps, but you're not playing. You're not leading with it. Your attack actions don't have go again. So, like, your opponent could just be like, "I'll just not pop it," and then your turn's over. So these are probably going to be Dromai's foot of choice, which immediately puts it at a 7.
Unless you're running the senpais, right? Like if you're running a senpai list.
I don't even know, because they like, what are you just gonna throw down a senpai and hope they pop it, and then you get another action point, and then you play another senpai? Like, you only have.
Well, you don't hope that they pop it. You hope that they just take the damage.
Yeah, but an 8 damage turn from an illusionist is like nothing. If that's all you're doing for your turn, you're not making dragons, you're not attacking with dragons, you're just
play guardian. You get a 7.
No, I mean if you've already got some dragons down, and then you swing in with the attack first, and then they're like, I either have to take 8 or I can pop that, and then I have to spend another popper on a dragon later.
Well, if you're swinging a senpai at me first and your dragons haven't come yet, I'm just taking 8. Like, I'm never gonna.
Or blocking with things that don't pop it.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to get those cards out of your hand and dealing damage to you.
I don't. That's not your game. That's not how you win, though. You'll lose that race if you're just doing a regular illusionist attack. That's just not really how illusionist works. You'll never run. Trust me, no one's ever gonna run footsteps in Dromai.
But I spec'd on them.
Did you?
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, these are just built for. Prism has no reason to run these because she actually works with footsteps, so she doesn't have allies. These are just a weird way of printing a not as powerful footsteps for Dromai, which I totally get it. Like if you had footsteps but for dragons, Dromai would be just like beyond busted. So these are a once per game bailout where you need to make some kind of play or like you get caught off guard and you need to recover. You'll run these. They're not like super stellar, but you'll run them.
I'm giving it a 7. They're expensive, but I think you have to run them.
Yeah, 7.
Yeah.
7.
Beautiful card. I don't know what this cloud is, what she's stomping on here, but
Stomping a person.
oh, is it?
They're stomping them into dust. Yeah, you can see their legs going out the other side.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
So it's like blue fire, like she's.
Their head is in the bottom right corner.
Yeah.
Okay, I have not been able to make out what this image. I thought it was just a cloud of like blue smoke.
He's
finally
stomping
get
them
it.
with a stiletto.
Fuck yeah, dude. Get it, bitch. Frightmare.
It's
3
a 10.
cost.
10.
It's
It's 10.
It's a 10. It's a 10. It's a 10 for name and art.
3 for 13. 3 for 13.
All right, we got a 3 cost red. It's got 13 attack down here.
13.
So immediately you kind of think like, well, Phantasmaclasm is a pretty awesome card that sees some fringe play. But this blocks for 0 here, and play Frightmare only if an illusionist attack action card you control has been destroyed by Phantasm this turn, and it has Phantasm itself.
Yo, I don't know how you're paying for all this, but this is where your boots come in.
So Dromai just can't run this. Dromai is just not running this. It has to be an illusionist attack action card that has been destroyed by Phantasm. That's just not really going to happen in Dromai very much. So you're looking at this in Prism, and like I can see where if you're running a Herald deck, you're running just all attack, gas, go again, and you're facing someone who has like a medium amount of poppers. They've got like 6 to 10 in their deck, and they pop your first attack. You go like Red War Tune, or you send a yellow or a red protection, and they're like, I don't want to deal with that shit, and they pop it. You had pitched a yellow for that, so you like use Tunic or another card. See, the problem comes in where you have to pitch 2 more cards to play this, and then they have another Phantasm popper, and you're like, cool.
It's a 5. We get it.
It's so cool. It's so
3
cool.
for 13, 3 heads, 13 ribs. Sounds like it's a 13 to me.
Bro, it's a 13.
Blocks for 0.
Yeah, it's like a 4.
It's
not
It's-
playable.
It's just so difficult to cast this and then also not get popped again. So yeah, it's
I'm gonna
like
give it a 3 for 13.
Yo, and then you fractal replication it, and you're like, another 13?
now we're talking.
26 damage. Let's go. It's like you can.
Play Phantasmaclasm. You see their one popper, you put their popper to the bottom. If they then have another popper off the top, then you just won the game.
Bro.
Yeah, it's like a 5. It could be playable. Like you pitch you got Tunic up, or you've got one of these cards in one of your cards in Arsenal. You can pitch enough for it. I just don't see this thing being worth.
It's so niche.
You could get it jammed. Like if they don't pop any of your cards ever, it's a red that doesn't block. You get it stuck in your arsenal, and you're just like, please pop my cards. Please pop my cards. Jesus Christ, please pop my cards. And you draw a handful of reds when they do pop your cards. You're like, no.
Yeah, it just got worse. Well, I don't even know if I've
Semblance.
seen this one.
Yeah, the
I haven't seen
art-
this yet.
The art was, the name came out when they did the release notes, but yeah, the art was kind of elusive. 3 cost blue, illusionist instant. Negate all phantasm triggered effects of target illusionist attack you control. The attack loses and can't gain phantasm, and the triggered effects do not resolve. So this card is
Expensive.
It is expensive, but it also might
That's
just
really good.
end your opponent's career on the spot. Like,
putting that on erudition feels really scary. Like when I try and just pop the erudition.
Yeah, you throw erudition in your opponent. Now your opponent has to like kind of give you the eyebrow and look at you and go, "How many cards you holding?" They're like, "I think I should probably block with armor on this one." And
if they have one in hand and one in arsenal, you're like, no.
Yeah, right. You're like, I'll pop it with a 7 semblance. Like, oh fuck. Yeah. So obviously this card is really expensive, but really good. Man, can you fit this in Dromai? It costs 3. It is a blue. It doesn't block, but it's like a resource card that could really bail you out when you attack with one of your big boy dragons and they go to pop it. I mean, this is like, this adds up with all the other stuff we talked about in like the Guardian matchup, right? You've got.
Yeah.
Oh,
you just play this with the gloves.
Oh, wow. Wait, yeah. That's pretty good.
Okay, you have to get it in Dromai. You gotta find a way to pay for this, because yeah, that's like a game-ending play. Gloves for 25. Pop it. Semblance. Die. Get fucked.
Yeah.
Well, you get 4 cards in hand, and gloves don't cost resources, so you can always play this on gloves.
It costs 3 to swing him. That's an
okay.
expensive turn. But that's the end game we're talking about, right? There's like nothing left in your deck but like blues and a few reds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they're just like, I'll just pop it, and you're like, yeah.
You'll
won't.
die instead.
Yeah.
Take 35.
This
is
might
a
be the
combat
combo
trick that
piece.
just definitely wins
Or-
the game if it works out, lines up.
Or you just run a few of these and you run Herald Prism and you're like, there's gonna be turns where you're taking some damage.
Yeah, it's super expensive. So the thing you're hitting with this has to be game-endingly important. Like, unless it's just for tempo and you happen to draw it and you're like, Heralded Protection. They're like, pop it. And I'm like, instead, I got nothing else for my turn. Let's save it. Get a Spectral Shield. Deal some damage. But like, yeah, erudition, giant attacks, like you play Phantasmaclasm, just raw, and they try to pop it. You could save it, and they take a bunch of damage. The gloves, your end games. This could be part of your end game strategy. You swing for 25 with the gloves. You get to save it with Semblance. You swing Draconic Optimi or Tumulti or something. They try to pop it. You save it with Semblance. This is just, I think you got to put it in your deck because it just bails you out of it. It'll win you games. This card will just win you games from time to time. Also, its art is super sick. I think it's like, it looks like a fox thing. Like, and there's some kind, it's like obviously all kind of illusion-y and trippy, but I'm seeing some kind of like creature right here. Oh, I guess it's probably like a dragon. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, it's a dragon.
It looks like a dragon. I think it's a 7. It doesn't block.
You cannot aetherize this.
No, you can't even rewind this because it's not an action card.
Oh no.
Correct.
You can't do shit.
I think I have it at a 7. Niche, but very good when it's.
I think 7's fair because it's like its ceiling is high and you kind of need to put it in your deck. It's at least a resource card. Thank God it's not like red.
Yeah. I think it's an 8 because it's blue.
The no block really keeps it at a teetering on the 7 for me. I mean, that's all instance, but yep.
Yeah.
Cool card. Transmogrify.
This card's busted.
This card is busted in limited.
Dude, there's a little dog on it.
Well, yeah. So there's this girl back here, and the dog. I think it's the dog transforming. This is different.
That's so cool.
It starts as like a puppy, and it gets bigger, and it starts getting all illusion-y. So I
Being
think
able
this
to
is
see
like
see
Yo,
it bigger.
I got hit
I like
for
it.
Phoenix Flame for 8.
Yes.
Yes. So in limited, keep an eye out for Transmogrify. If you're going to play Illusionist, you can put Phoenix Flames in your deck, and you can target them with Transmogrify. So you turn them into little 8 go again guys.
It's disgusting.
Transmogrify is very interesting. I have yet to explore the full implications of this in CC. In limited, it's a huge buff. You probably just pick it and play it. But it's not really that much better than Phantasmify or Veiled Intentions, because while it may seem like it's adding 8, it's really only like you hit a snatch with this, your snatch is now 8. I literally had people saying, like, at the table, they were like, dude, you could snatch for 8. And I'm like, bro, I've already done that with Veiled Intention. You can snatch for 9 if you do Red Phantasmify. Like, whoa, bro. Like, no way. Like, that already exists. That already fucking exists.
I throw snatch for 7 go again all the time in Briar.
Shut up. But it's not
And
illusionist.
you can't pop that.
It's true. But like, you know, in most cases, this is a +4 or 5. It gets better the smaller the attack you use it on. Like, if you have what's cool is that you can use this on a blue, and it's better than Phantasmify hitting a blue, because you just have that bigger difference. You turn a 1 attack into an 8 attack rather than giving a 1 attack +4 attack. So it's like, it just works a little bit differently. I'm not sure this, like the other ones, has any use in CC whatsoever. Not sure the relevancy of the 8 base attack. It's like, could come up. You obviously can't play with like KO or Brute, the tear limb from limb or anything. So I don't really know what that base attack is doing. I think it's just to differentiate that it's not a plus, that it's for that low attack synergy, the small card synergy.
I think it's a limited card. I think it's really good and limited.
Yeah.
It'll be great in any of the mutant drafts.
Oh yeah.
Anything you slap
It
this.
keeps its other card types.
Yeah, it does.
So,
Slap this on anything with Go again, and you're probably you're very happy and limited.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like overall, in terms of like CC, this is like a 4.
Yeah.
You're not gonna play with this. It like that much damage, that much of a buff warrants some attention, but like 4, you'll experiment with it and then put it away and go, yeah, that was a limited card.
Definitely gonna have to take a look at the generic cards and just see if there's anything that's like, okay, this is actually really good.
I think it's a 6.
Wow, 6. That's it. We're at the end finally. There was a lot of the dragons warranted a lot of discussion because they have some crazy implications. But we made it through. Bill, real quick, transmogrify.
Just give it a number. Go.
Nice.
There we go.
4.
I gave it a 4.
But what if I told you Phoenix Flame for 8?
What if I
I'll
told
play
you?
Phoenix Flame for 0 and be happy. I don't care the power on Phoenix Flame.
What if I told you for Phoenix Flame for 8, transmogrify another Phoenix Flame for 8?
That sounds like a sick third.
Phoenix Flame for 18. 16.
16. Math is hard.
Yeah.
Move on.
And that only
Okay,
costs you 2
we're done.
resources.
That's it. That's all the cards. We did it. Thank you for watching. That was our Illusionist Uprising review. We are going to go through the rest of them here soon. It'll be like, Ninja, Draconic Ninja, and all the Ninja cards, and then we'll do Draconic, and then we'll do the Wizard. Will just have all the ice and the Wizard stuff because it's only relevant to her, and then we'll have like the generics. So I hope you enjoyed this format with all of the same class cards in one. I think it went a lot better. I think it's good for us to go through them and have context with each other, and we can reference the power level of the synergistic cards and get a whole picture of a hero rather than just guess and then be proven completely wrong when one card comes out and changes the whole context of a hero. So if you like this, consider subscribing and following and giving us a like, and we'll be back with more review content. Thanks. See you later.
Bye.